Hi, Reza.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Apologies for the late start.
No problem. We wait 2 minutes in order to let people come in.
Right. Okay. Great. Okay. So for the purpose of the recording, it's Thursday, November 7. This is the bi-weekly EMEA chapter meeting of Kwaai. My name's Reza Rasool. Christian, why don't I hand it over to you?
Hi, Reed. Sorry. Okay. I have a problem with my camera. Now it should be okay. Perfect. Okay. So, oh, you don't see me.
No.
Sorry. You give me error. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Now it's perfect. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So, hello to everyone. Thank you, Reza, for introducing me. I am Christian Randieri. I am in charge as a director of the EMEA chapter regarding the Kwaai Association. Today we have an agenda that I would like to show you by sharing my screen. Just 1 second. Okay, perfect. Okay. Today, essentially, we have two news with two persons that will discuss about their mission regarding Kwaai. After my brief introduction, as usual, regarding the Kwaai EMEA chapter strategy and organization, I will let the words to Walter Lundery, that is in charge for produce a master thesis in computer science engineering regarding the Kwaai study and Kwaai missions. So he will briefly introduce his topic regarding this thesis and how he will work regarding that. Secondly, we have our first ambassadors that will be Abdullah Ham, that has been nominated as a Kwaai EMEA ambassador for his region, and he will have the pleasure for showcase his mission regarding this engagement. And at the end, we will let the words to the new attenders of this meeting. So, as usually, I first do just a brief recap regarding the Kwaai EMEA chapter mission. Essentially, our mission is to spread the message of the Kwaai main chapter that is located in US. Essentially, we want to build a community for democratizing AI and for advocating for a new and much more responsive development regarding AI tools that can be applied and also used to everyone. So, essentially, okay, as announced before, we will introduce later Walter, so he will discuss about his thesis topics regarding the Kwaai EMEA chapter and also the Kwaai general strategy. Also, I want to remember to the audience that the Kwaai EMEA chapter have an ambassador program that today we are very proud to introduce our first ambassadors that is located in Africa. He will discuss about his strategy and how he will organize his mission around his country. Essentially, this ambassador program is a strategic program that helps us to spread our message. So the purpose is to expand the Kwaai search in order to foster local community and to drive new engagement. Obviously, who want to be an ambassador have responsibilities, such as to be a bridge between the Kwaai and the local community where he lives. And he will organize events. He will promote initiative in all focusing to the Kwaai EMEA chapter missions. Also, there are few benefits to access to particular resources of the community, and also he will be engaged with the new networking opportunity, and also for recognition for his job. So I encourage everyone to try to apply as the ambassador program if you are very motivated and if you think that you can spread our message in a very strong way regarding and into your location. The Kwaai EMEA chapter actually is organized with 3 subgroups. The first is the policy group for EMEA region work group that would like to analyze the diverse regulatory landscape and policy challenge and opportunity related to the emerging technologies such as AI within the EMEA region. The second is the Agritech Innovation Group that is focused on leveraging AI regarding the emerging technologies to address challenge and in agriculture, with a particular emphasis for the EMEA region. And lastly is the cross-disciplinary collaboration group that is a very transversal group that is focused to promote, encourage interdisciplinary collaboration by bringing together members from different academic disciplines and also different profiles or professional background. Also, in the Kwaai EMEA region, we have the Kwaai Beta program that is launched in the US chapter. With this beta program, institutions like university can join in order to adopt our tools, our software to do a new experimentation with them. So who want to apply should go directly to the Kwaai website in order to look and push regarding the beta program links. You need just to fill templates and you will be contacted in order to discuss about this program. Okay, as I say always, this is just the beginning. We need people that donate their time in order to spread this message, because we believe in democracy. AI should be much more democratic. AI should be for everyone, and everyone should be the proprietary of his data. Because normally with the ordinary tools such as ChatGPT, we don't know where are our data and how they are managed and if they are managed. We believe that is our responsibility to have a tool that is privated. By the way, we should choose whenever to share or not our data. So any new idea is always welcome. Who have a new idea or new message can drop me an email. My email is christian@kwaai.ai. So thank you very much. Now I would like to let the word to Reza for a quick update from the Kwaai US chapter, because there are, I suppose, different news that are regarding the Kwaai EMEA chapter too. So Reza.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you, Christian. I had a busy week last week. It was a conference week, and I'm going to share some slides with you about what I presented at the conference. So let me do that. And it was, in fact, 2 conferences, and we managed to get the word out about Kwaai. Okay, so I hope you're seeing my screen. This is a presentation that I delivered in different formats. One in an hour-long format. I did that twice, and then one in about a 10-minute format. And then at the Friday meeting, I delivered it in rapid time, I think less than 7 minutes. Let's see if we can do it even faster. Okay, so we were talking about a new initiative within Kwaai. It's called Kwaai Net. It is securely distributed AI on digital public infrastructure. So this is not where we are now, but this is where we're going to in the future. So here's the traction I reported to the conference. This is where we are now. We've founded Kwaai, we've elected officers and a board, and we've incorporated and done all the things. We formed an EMEA chapter, and we've got about 680 members, close on 700 now. And when you value everyone's contribution in terms of hours spent on the project, this is the equivalent of $7 million worth of in-kind contribution. This is not actual cash contribution. This is the value that we put on the hours that people have spent. And where we get these hours from is from Slack. So we count up the activity spent on Slack, and we say, okay, well, this person's been engaged on the project, and we've got hourly rates for our volunteers, our advisors, and our board, and the other folks, and we come up with this number. Okay, look, it's a fiction. But it's a number, and if we're consistent about how we score this, then we can measure our progress over month on month. Great. So large language models have arrived, and everyone's excited about it. And we had this mass euphoria in November 2022. But then as the world started to use it more, they realized, okay, LLMs are trained on a vast general knowledge data set, but what does it know about me? If you don't care about the general knowledge, but you want to ask questions about your own personal data, whether it's you as a person or you as a business, then LLMs on their own are not sufficient. So people have tried options of personalizing LLM, so you can retrain and refine it with your personal data. But that's kind of a pain. That's really difficult to do, and it requires you divulging all of your personal data to services that you don't fully trust. Okay, what doc-searls? Oh, what happened there? We had a crash. Let's try launching that again. That's interesting that it decided to crash on me. PowerPoint just died. Okay, so let's go. Where was I? I was here.
Sometime happen.
Let's try one more time. Share. And we were here. We're there. There we go. And interesting, I see Sam Johnston on the call. So, Sam, are you in Europe yet, or you just decided?
No, I'm heading over tomorrow. Maybe we'll come back to it. But my partner is French, daughter's French. Spent most of the last 20 years this month actually in Europe. So wanted to, and I'm there next week actually in Lisbon for Web Summit as well. So.
Cool. Okay, so
have a look at how this group's going.
Let me let's try that share one more time. This time with feeling. Microsoft, that one. Okay, good. And so, what Doc Searles says is we should be creating AI for her, respecting her data rights, not eavesdropping or spying on her. So this is not corporate AI. This isn't a double agent that says it's working for you, but it's really working for a corporation, and it's scooping up all of your data in order to better monetize you. You end up being the product, not the customer. So what we want to do is focus on creating AI that'll give her a 10x superpower. This 10x notion is what investors and VCs, venture capitalists, want from a business to perform. And we're saying, well, no, we want that type of performance for an individual. We want that benefit to accrue to an individual. And we feel that if you can actually uplift individuals with that level of efficiency, giving them, making them more personally productive, then those benefits will actually trickle up to the rest of the economy. It'll make her a better worker. It'll make her a more informed consumer. It'll make her a more engaged citizen. Gosh, we could use that, can't we? So she needs personal AI. So what is personal AI? Look, if you go and search on the internet for personal AI, you actually come up with a company that calls itself personal.ai. But then you look at the message they put on their homepage. They say, grow a network of AI personas, each filling key roles in your organization, trained exclusively with your data to boost efficiency and streamline workflows. It's not personal AI. I think Sam called it personnel AI. Or was it Doc? No, nobody wants to take ownership for that. But I think it's a cool interpretation of what they're doing. And it turns out that most of the companies that started off in the personal AI space have pivoted towards corporate AI, towards enterprise AI.
So Reza, I might
Yeah.
so it was me talking about personnel AI, but it
Right.
was a tool that's useful. Like Word is useful for an individual, but it's also useful for you at work, right? So it's kind of like we're making tools that cater to individuals, but that an enterprise, for example, could deploy to all of their personnel, right? So it's a bit of a play on words, like personnel, but it's not
Right.
necessarily a negative thing. Now, shifting like just like taking an open source product commercial is maybe more pejorative, but
yeah. So look, my favorite conversational chatbot is called Pi. Ironically, but they actually coined the name first, but it's spelled PI. And in fact, if you go and look at the Kwaai events page, the very first call to action, I strung together using Siri and Pi by inflection. I strung together a conversation, which was a vision of how I wanted to interact with a chatbot. And it's quite compelling. It used to be free. It's not free anymore. So you'd have to pay in order to use it. And it says, hey, I'm designed to be supportive and smart and be there for you. But there's an angst you feel because what does she know about me? What does this voice in the computer know about me? Actually knows nothing about you and just learns from you from the material that you send during the session. But there's no notion of that chatbot being armed with all of your personal data. So that's the challenge we faced. And in fact, there's a guy called Doug Clinton who says personal AI should really run locally. It shouldn't be built on centralized models. Says keep your data local, bring the processing to where your data is. Now, to be clear, we can't do that at the moment. Well, we can. It's possible, but we're taking a stepping stone to getting there. So the problem isn't storage. Storage, it's quite possible to store your data locally. In fact, I just bought a multi-terabyte, I think an 8 terabyte NAS store for a few $100s. Turns out it's now economically viable to have that storage at home. Gig for gig, the cost of buying the storage versus renting it. Within 2 months of rent, you might as well have purchased it. Now, it doesn't give you all of the functionality that cloud-based storage gives, but a NAS, a network attached storage, is alive. It's live all the time, and it could be running at home, and this could be where your personal data is housed. But what about the processing? Well, you can also run your AI locally on a sufficiently powerful laptop. It's kind of pricey. But again, compare that to renting the equivalent processor in the cloud within about a month and a half of rental cost, you might as well have purchased it. I know, because we were paying $2,000 a month to just rent an AWS server to run the proof of concept. Okay, so here's what we currently are offered. We're told, hey, send your queries to a large language model in the cloud and we'll get your answer. But that's a problem, because her data is down here. And they say, well, okay, you can send us all your data. Oh, but that'll cost. Now you'd have to, use the pro subscription, and there's, limits on the amount of data you can actually upload. But if you've got terabytes of data, that's a problem. You want to run this locally. You want to be able to run that locally, not use the cloud, not pay the money. And that is what we call PyOS. So PyOS is a very scalable, very, very configurable platform for creating your own personal assistant that could run locally if you want, or it could run we could host it for you. Okay, so that's, it is basically a small language model. You can choose from one of many language models. It is a vector database. You can choose which vector database you want. It's a vectorizer, an embedder, it's also called, that converts your plain text into vectors, whether it's your queries or whether it's your data. And then it's basically a RAG engine that is configurable. You can choose the persona that you want to use. You can choose the language. This is very important, and we understand. I know for the conference in Sicily, we showed that the knowledge base could be held in English, but you could actually query it in Italian. Now that was a proof of concept demo. We want to make that a reality, especially for the EMEA chapter. I think that's going to be super important. Okay, so what we added to this is multi-tenancy, and the reason we added multi-tenancy was to solve a big cost problem. The cost of running personal AI on a computer, you saw there, the $3,500 computer, is not something that is available to everyone. So if you're going to host this system, you want to be able to reduce the cost. And that's what Sam and his team have done. They've created a multi-tenant solution so that many chatbots can be resident on the same server. Could be 1,000. And when the queries come in, it'll automatically switch between those chatbots. Okay, so that's exciting. And so, but when Doc looked at that, he said, that looks like corporate AI, when you're talking about multi-tenancy and so on. And we said, yeah, but it's a means to an end. We think that we first are going to run this in education environments. You imagine a campus server and running chatbots for the professors that can make the student's life easier, make the professor's life easier as well. So I think he's not convinced, but I said, look, this is a stepping stone to getting us to where we really want to go. And that's, well, let me talk about why we need how that solution scales. Okay, so the solution, actually, the problem with the vector database is that you can query it in real time on your $3,500 server. You can query it in real time for vector databases less than 10 gigabytes. When it gets to 10 gigabytes and above, it's really too slow to have a conversation with that machine. Now you can choose to run processing jobs on there that don't require real-time computation, in which case it's just fine. For instance, the processing required to, I don't know, prepare drafts for your emails that are coming in, that's a non-real-time process that can be going on in the background. In fact, most of your emails come in overnight. So in the morning, it will have been able to process that. So we should be careful not to discount running AI locally on your local machine. But for the use cases where your knowledge base goes beyond 10 gigabytes, then it becomes a problem. But the multi-tenancy that Sam has created is really valuable, because sharding is a well-known technique for making databases run faster. You basically shard, which is spreading the data across parallel nodes. So now in a P2P, peer-to-peer distributed RAG, lots of different PyOS instances can work in parallel. It means that your Bob's vector database over here, Bob could run it locally, but he can also rent space from Alice and from Eve. Similarly, all the others are both landlords as well as tenants in this configuration. And so, of course, the obvious problem, as Sam pointed out, he says, I don't want my private data exposed on my neighbor's machine. And that's absolutely true. And so within our research group, we started looking at that problem, and we think we have a solution. We're not certain, but it's the subject of two grant applications. One is a National Science Foundation grant application, and one is the Future of Life Institute grant application. And it's called confidentially distributed RAG. And what it does is it puts a scrambler after the vectorizer. And it only, the key for the scrambler is controlled by the owner of that instance. So Bob controls his scrambler, and his data is stored on Alice and Eve's machine in scrambled form in such a way that it can be searched, it can be queried in its scrambled form without descrambling it. Now that's a bold statement, because what we've basically claiming here is that we've got a homomorphic scrambler, which the industry's been searching for ages, and we claim to have discovered it. Of course, this is a bold claim, and so we needed to get a world expert to basically scrutinize what we're doing. So in each of these grant applications, we've listed this guy, Dave Grantham, of a company called Cryptid, and he's a world expert on cryptography. And so he will run the red team. Red team is the term for a security team that is looking for vulnerabilities in systems. So that's where we are. Here we're going towards QuaiNet, which is a multi-layered fabric where we think AI is going to run in the future. A storage fabric, a community inference fabric, and the top layer, which is the intent casting fabric, which is the thing that Doc Searls describes in his book, The Intention Economy. I'm not going to go through the architecture diagrams. Brian Ragazzi showed a demo of distributed RAG up at the conference on the first day, and Balaji has also been supporting him in the development of this demo. And then this is how I ended the conference. Hey, you can sign up, and we got a number of people signing up from the conference. You always get a bit of a bump in membership at these conferences. Okay, so there, I'm going to stop sharing. Thanks so much. I can take some questions, or over to you, Christian.
Thank you, Risa. I see that there are a lot of improvements, and Kwaai now is a very big and strong project. It's very, very important to look forward, and I believe that this idea will be sooner made effectively, in order to let them apply it, to let them tested over the world. I believe that what is the Kwaai study is fundamentals for the democratization of AI. The main idea to always spread the data but with a key, in order to let them to be redundant, let them trip much more fast, to do networking between data server people and so on, but with a big and strong security level is essential for the future. Because, you know, if you want to fight with the big company, alone you cannot do nothing. You're too much small. But each drops of water put it together can do a storm, can do hurricanes, can destroy whenever you want. So our idea is to collect our little drops to be much more stronger altogether. So I believe that this is the key solution for the future of the AI democratization. So
Fantastic. I love the metaphor.
thank you very much for your update. And now it's time to let the word to Walter. Walter, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi everyone
We
again.
read your master thesis title, so we would like to let you introduce the related title and what is your main idea regarding this thesis.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor. So the title is An Engineering Perspective of the Studies and Role of the Kwaai Association in Democratizing Artificial Intelligence. So that's very cool, in my opinion. And
Walter, you're creating, your master thesis is about Kwaai?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I
Yes.
think we're honored. And
I am honored, Dr. Azul. Thank you very much.
so much. Okay.
So I'm collecting infos, and for the next meeting in 2 weeks, I hope to give you my index, which we can share and talk about it. Of course, I follow this meeting and the public meeting on Friday. The last one was really interesting. In fact, your presentation is amazing and it gave me many answers about what I'm gonna do. In fact, my first question was about this thesis because I don't have so many information, because on the internet, Kwaai is new. I mean, in the world, it's a new project. So my question was, how am I gonna do to get some info, especially because this is a master thesis and from an engineering perspective. So your presentation gave me a boost today, and I want to thank you. Of course, I want to thank you, Dr. Johnson, because I think he's one of the programmers of this Kwaai.
Developers, yes.
Yes,
But don't be worried. You can leverage in the overall community that is much strong. Is 615 person. So
yes.
you have a lot of person that can help you, and your thesis is a milestone for let's try to produce a strong documentation about the Kwaai project. So this is your thesis is have a key role in the Kwaai strategy, because as I told you before, we will leverage on that in order to perfectionate all the information collected, in order to give them a structure, to make them readable for the new attenders, for the community. So I am very happy for this thesis, and congratulations. And don't be worried, you are never alone. You never will.
Thank you very much.
So Walter, you can count me as your thesis advisor if you want. I've played that role for a number of people at University of Washington. You know, I'd be the mentor on capstone programs and so on. So what we do is we set up a regular weekly meeting where we move the project forward. The structure of your thesis is to not start with Kwaai. You have to actually find what is the body of work that built up to a movement like Kwaai forming. So, you know, there's
problems, topics
Yeah,
like responsible
right.
AI, open source AI.
Open source AI, all of that. It's basically seeing. I always cite the problem that the industry was in when Linux was birthed. Why would Linux inspire so many people when it was launched? It's because the industry was in a problem. It was in a problem state, and so drawing those parallels would be great, because it helps set Kwaai in a context. Okay, this is a pattern that's formed. So anyway, so getting all the backstory, all of the context, the historical context that causes movements like Kwaai to come to fruition. Okay, so that's great. Look, there's a lot of material. If you go to the events page, you see all of the weekly public meetings. Great.
Yes.
And you can plot the evolution of the movement. We can give you, hey, there's a lot of other material, but you've got some brilliant minds on the call here, but you've got other minds to tap, and you can interview people. I mean, part of your thesis could be the interviewing of new volunteers to say, hey, what motivated you to join? And tell us your story, and how are you contributing. That could be a great part of the story. Anyway, I'm really excited that you're doing this work, Walter, and I think it's a great subject for a master's thesis.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you very much.
And
Okay.
Sam, you're in the middle of your master's thesis, your master's program.
Yeah, I'm doing a Masters of Science, Computer Science at Georgia Tech, specializing in machine learning. But
Right.
no thesis. There's an option, but I don't know that I'll take it.
Fantastic.
Maybe.
Look, Walter, Sam can help you and give you the perspective from the open source community.
Perfect.
And Sam's been very vocal and vigilant in the way that the open source community has been infiltrated, and where the definition of open source has been deformed in order to support corporate interests. And I think that is an important element to highlight in any master's thesis on Kwaai.
Yeah, I've just finished listening to a podcast called, I've just put it in the chat, called The Corruption of Open Source, with a guy called Tonte, who's a guy in Germany, actually, so over your way. And he's looked both at the WordPress dumpster fire and the open source AI definition dumpster fire, both of which are interesting interrelated topics relating to open source. But I think open source is just one dimension of AI that Kwaai should look at. I think responsible AI is an orthogonal but interesting area that gets into related concepts like transparency and fairness and bias and things, and different companies have different views on what responsible AI is. But then you've got implementations like PyOS, you've got community-centric issues like KwaiNet, and it would be interesting to see kind of a taxonomy of sorts of what topics are relevant to an organization like Kwaai, and particularly what we're doing versus what we could and should be doing, if there's anything that outside of our, and maybe it's not, it's outside of our.
There's a whole landscape of topics. There's the privacy issue, there's the issue of sustainability. If you're happy with your stuff running in the cloud and you trust the cloud providers, why run it locally? Many people choose to trust Google. I do. Many people choose to trust Apple. I do. Many people trust Microsoft. I do. I've got lots of data up there. So the mantra for saying, hey, bring your AI to run locally is not, I don't think the privacy argument is the stronger argument. I think it's the sustainability argument, which is also, one of the dimensions of the sort of Kwaai thought space. And sustainability of AI. Can AI really run in the clouds? Well, it's a problem. It can't you can't get enough electrical power into a data center to support the needs of a metropolitan community and the AI needs. And so much like we found with the electrical grid, you have to decentralize it. You have to put generation capacity at the edge. Not all of it, it's a hybrid. And so QuaiNet is thinking about, okay, what would AI look like in a distributed context? Great. I'm envious of you working on this project. It's quite exciting.
Thanks a lot.
Perfect.
Catch you soon.
So Walter,
Okay.
you need to get connected on Slack. I see you have an account, but you haven't said anything on Slack. So you do have
I'm on Slack, Dr.
Okay.
Azul.
Okay.
Yes, in fact, I'm having a look to the channels, looking some videos, but just at the starting point.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Now is time to let the word to Abdullah Raham, that is our first Kwaai EMEA chapter ambassadors. So welcome, Abdullah Raham, and congratulations.
Well
Please.
done.
So hi everyone, and I would like to start by thanking Dr. Christian for the nomination. This was I could see this as a challenge for me to bring Kwaai. Although I've been doing that, I've been advocating for Kwaai in Nigeria. But it's great to take this as a challenge on myself. So I will do a quick presentation of the strategy, my proposed strategy like that. So coming on to share my screen. Okay, yeah. So the first thing I listed some of the strategy I would like to take up this challenge. Initially, I was amazed the first time I learned about Kwaai. That was when I participated in a program where Dr. Reza presented something on Kwaai like that. So it's because this resonates in my interest as well. So that's why since September 2023, I've been following up with Kwaai. Although not every time I do talk or I do share myself there. These are the list of the strategy I proposed to make up. So the first one is regional engagement and community building, whereby my goal is to expand Kwai's presence in Africa, especially Nigeria that I'm currently. So the next step is just to create community hubs whereby Kwaai can have a presence in different countries in Africa, like Kigali, Nairobi, Kenya, Uganda, and South Africa, which is, I believe, is where our doctor came from. So the next thing is to increase accessibility of what Kwaai is actually doing, like by organizing events in different cities across Nigeria. Nigeria is a big country, so organizing events in different cities will be part of the things that will really increase Kwai's visibility in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So these are the key actions I've listed, which is like hosting regional workshops whereby I go there to represent Kwaai, explain to people what open source AI tools are, and the difference between what is known as open source and what Kwaai is really doing in its open source projects like that. So another one is creating partnerships between Kwaai and universities and other NGOs that work in the ICT and other departments like that. So then the next one is having a community, maybe a Discord server, whereby we discuss about Kwaai technology, we discuss about Kwaai involvement or engagement in African tech community as well. So Kwaai is currently going to the beta program, which is something I've been advocating for. I've messaged some universities in Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria to join the Kwaai program like that. So what I intended to do here is like engage different campuses like that, different universities, let them know what Kwaai is, let them know the requirements for them to like to join Kwaai beta program like that. So already we have campuses or agencies that joined signed up for Kwai's beta program. So my point here is like to find a way to have like conversations with them and then to coordinate and plan with them how they can make use of their technologies or machines to like host Kwai's beta program. So the next one is experimentation, which is about how I can collaborate with iOS department, which fortunately Sam is currently here. So what I intended in doing here is to really get myself involved in iOS. I've not been attending meetings, and then so I want to really know what the steps and the technologies and other stuff about iOS, to the extent that when it's time for the beta program, I can be able to give like instructions or help campuses or agencies that are undergoing Kwai's beta program in Africa. So following, I want to focus on focusing on different work groups in EMEA chapter. The first one is policy group. Yeah, I believe in times to come, EMEA policy group will be well formed to the extent that anything discussed in the policy group and then combined with the policies in Africa in terms of AI policies in Nigeria can be able to like adapt the policy or the discussions in EMEA policy work group and then incorporate it with what's currently called the policy in Africa and see how the two can move together. So the next stop is like advocacy campaigns. I'm very good at this. So like leading campaigns about creating awareness on ethical usage of AI and contributes to local policy dialogues. Yeah, I've been involved in these kinds of things in terms of advocacy. So now moving forward is cross-disciplinary collaboration. My goals here are like to create a network to like have host events that will create a network between AI and specialists, software developers, educators, and policymakers to collaborate on projects that could address local challenges like that. One of it was is the agricultural projects that will be coming up in EMEA chapter. Although I've been working on that, I thought I'll be able to make some presentations on that today. But no problem. In the next meeting, I think I'll be able to do that. So hackathons and challenges. I believe I highly believe in hackathons. I've been organizing hackathons. I've been participating in different international hackathons like that. In terms of AI, the use of AI, other stuff like that. So now with iOS, we can be able to like host hackathons in Nigeria, host hackathons in other African countries, and see how developers can build on iOS. I think this is highly encouraging. So now looking at the next one, which is the resource allocation and support. My long-term goal is that not only Nigerian ambassador we are going to have, only me being the ambassador, we could have for other African countries like that, like Kenya, Uganda, South Africa as well, whereby they can be able to like increase the awareness of Kwai's reach in their countries as well. So access to training. So I visioned a world whereby each ambassador will be able to have access to like training sessions on public speaking. This is very important as an ambassador. Event organization, just like capacity building of a thing. And then one important thing, which is community management. So yeah, Other stuff about it's just like the toolkits for ambassadors, like getting themselves equipped with the technological know-how of Kwai's technology, Kwai iOS, and how they themselves can help other build those kinds of things. Although I lead a team, I lead a team as a startup founder. I believe we can be able to do that as well. So now the next one is like exclusive resources, which is about other ambassadors like that, whereby they will have early access to Kwaai tools, or for them to be able to showcase Kwaai iOS, Kwaai developments in their local events. And then I have monitoring and feedback, although this is just like M&E stocks, whereby we have a monthly check-in, monthly meetings between myself and Kwaai administrations, and see and be able to track what has happened. Maybe in the long run, we will have fellow ambassadors be able to see what was the progress, what was the results so far. And then the most important is feedback mechanism, whereby in different or in all the events, we'll be able to like create a feedback mechanism whereby participants will be able to provide their feedback before the event as well as after the event. So, and the last one, which is the long-term goals and sustainability, is on sustained growth as an ambassador for Africa or other ambassadors that will be coming in a long time. Like, okay, yeah, I'll build a roadmap for growing the number of ambassadors. That will be a long-term thing that I'm thinking about, and expanding Kwai's reach to other African countries. Africa has 52 countries, which is quite large. So, and lastly, partnership development, which is like establish partnerships with regional organizations, tech communities, to embed Kwaai into the local tech ecosystem, just as we have Google, Microsoft, Google event, and all those stuff like that. So Kwaai, I envision whereby Kwaai we have this. So that's what I have. And let me make this as the last statement for myself. I'm highly motivated with Kwaai, and that's why I've been continuing to join what Kwaai is doing. Because at the long term, when I was very young, I have this idea, and I was very intrigued seeing this. Thank you so much, everyone.
So look, I'm really excited about this. Sam, I'm getting messages from folks saying they are waiting in the iOS. Maybe you can kick off the iOS meeting, and I can linger a bit longer here.
Absolutely. So if any of you happen to be coming to Web Summit next week, then get in touch with me. I'll leave my number in my European number in the chat there. Hopefully, if anybody comes over, then I'll see you there.
Okay, so I'm going to. It might be that I have to start the iOS meeting because Myra still hasn't figured out how to make these meetings start without me. So let's see. Okay. I joined it for the first time. Okay, let's see. Let's see if Sam's able to join. If he's not, then I'm going to have to drop. But Abdul Rahman, this is fantastic. Well done. I'm going to ask you to think about a couple of things. You mentioned sustainability, but think about how to fund your program. And so now start thinking about which grant applications we can go after in order to secure that funding. And then we need to think about, when I think about sustainability, grants are great for starting it off, but long-term sustainability, the system needs to generate its own revenue. So when we're thinking about iOS, we're thinking about hosting these services. It's free if individuals host it themselves. If you have a community server established, then that's an opportunity for you to host chatbots for other people securely. But that's going to cost, and that's a revenue opportunity to fund your operation. So think about that. That's where my head's going. We definitely, when we create our organization, we don't want it to be a an organization that's continuously going cap in hand, asking for donations. We want it to be robust, which means that it needs to be generating its own revenue. Non-profit doesn't mean non-revenue. Okay, I'm going to have to hop to the PyOS meeting, but thank you so much. This has been a very valuable EMEA chapter meeting. Thanks, Christian.
I am also very happy today. Our meeting was very rich and full of new ideas, new proposals. So we are in the good direction. I'm very happy. So thank you to everyone for being here and for your time. Thank you. Thank you very much. So
Okay.
see you in 2 weeks. Have a nice day and happy Kwaai Day to everyone. Bye-bye.
Happy
Bye.
Friday.
Bye.
Bye.